Grainmaker. Welcome, everyone, to the Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, a Prairie Proud wrestling podcast covering everything from Winnipeg to worldwide. My name is Blair Pacheco. I hope you're doing well, having a great day, evening, weekend, whenever it is you're sitting down and listening to this. Now, funny enough how things work out, because last week on the podcast, I had the wonderful Richie Coy on the podcast, and we were chatting, and my guest this week's name even came up a few times, but before the podcast had even been released, we had been in touch about them coming on again, joining me again on the Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast. And we got a lot to talk about because he's blowing budgets everywhere. It's Elliot Tyler. Elliot, how's it going?
Hello, Grainmaker. It is good to be back, and I'm very thankful you have me. I feel like I've been on so many times now. At this point, we might as well have a every few month meetup. But no, things are good. Everything's going well. I got one cat bolting around my feet and the other one begging me to turn the sink on. So all is normal in dad cat life.
Yeah, I have told people I've said if Elliot Tyler ever wanted to do a podcast, I would do one with Elliot Tyler because I love chatting with Elliot and we can just talk about whatever and it's fun. So like that's how much I enjoy having you on the podcast.
I feel like we have a lot of similar takes and views on wrestling, and I feel like, yeah, you're probably one of my favorite people to talk just wrestling with. Like, obviously, there's different types of ways to talk wrestling with different types of people within wrestling. But I feel like you and me have a very good, broad spectrum of this that we agree on. And I always enjoy talking to you. And I always feel like I leave either learning something or hearing about someone. And I always enjoy being around, you know?
Hell yeah. And I'm happy to have you. So, like, we're going to talk about you spending all of NEW's money right away.
Fantastic.
First, I have to ask because you and Casey Ferreira, you guys have been sort of taking over as the Rogues.
Yes.
I have to ask what that's been like as you enter this foray into, like, a tag team with Casey.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. So we recently started actually applying ourselves as a team. We kind of both were having really good success as singles wrestlers, and we were really enjoying it. And then an opportunity came up for Mania weekend back in April where we would team. So we agreed we would kind of apply ourselves to that and kind of focus at that and have some ideas and some things flowing. And we kind of took some preliminary tag bouts to kind of get in the rhythm of things. And just kind of, it was lightning in a bottle, and I think it worked really well. And then after that match, we kind of had some other opportunities arise that I think we capitalized on quite well. Yeah. And that led to kind of some success on the East Coast, which, not to say neither of us had done. I know Casey had been out to Toronto before we started teaming, but we just recently started kind of gaining a lot of momentum. So teaming with him has been a lot of fun. To make a short answer long, it has been very enjoyable, and I feel kind of like a reset button has been hit on my career. Like the last year and a half between singles and now tagging with him has been probably some of my most fulfilling time as a wrestler.
It's been, since you've made your return, it's been incredible to see because, I mean, the run you had in Prestige, feuding with Drexel, now, the tag run you're having with Casey, and it's led to you guys, heading out east. And that was just recently, you wrestled for C4 out there, part of, I think it was not a scramble match, but it was a multi-tag team match, correct?
A fatal four-way tag match.
Okay, yes.
The opening round of the TAG tournament.
Yeah, so you had that. I know you guys were doing some training out there, wrestling a couple other shows. So, I mean, as your first sort of, like, I don't want to say week away, but like, multi-day time away from the West Coast, what was that experience like, being in C4, training at other locations, just shine a little light on that.
Great question. It was phenomenal. It was long. I greatly, obviously, missed my wife and my cats, and being able to watch the Canucks from the comfort of my couch. But no, I mean, I landed in Ottawa which for those of you that don't know where that is, that's the capital of Canada, out east in Ontario. And we wrestled there for C4. And from there, we went to go watch a show called Interspecies Wrestling, which actually was a benefit show for Jeff Cannonball, which you can all catch on IWTV and watch that and maybe send in a donation to help him out. We went to watch it, and we ended up getting last minute booked on it in what was a really weird situation of we reached out to the guy, never heard back. And then basically when we got to the show, we were told we were in a 5-on-5. And I'm really good at writing all the information of like matches I have and everything down. And even now, this match is done and it's a week and a half old, and all I have written down is 5-on-5 because I know 3 names in the entire match, and I'm sorry for everyone in it, but shaking hands happened quick, and I apologize. But and then after that, we got the huge opportunity of wrestling in Gatineau, Quebec for Mystery with Evil Uno. So that was huge. That was awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. And this is like I'm going to say with the interspecies show. I mean, like it's a testament. Like it's been mentioned before, but always bring your gear with you when you go to a show. So
always bring your gear. Yes,
like cannot reinforce that enough, especially with the younger wrestlers that are coming up.
Huge.
Always have.
It's huge.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to arise, and a perfect opportunity there for you guys. So
yeah, absolutely. It was just going to be a fun little road trip of Casey and I with a New York wrestler named Young Jay Lee. It was just going to be the 3 of us road tripping, and we ended up getting a match out of it. And the town it was in, I can't pronounce the name, and I'm not going to try to butcher a French name, was like 20 minutes outside of Montreal. So we had never been there. So that was a cool experience. Yeah, it was all around.
Hell yeah.
Like that was just the first weekend, and I could go in forever on everything, but I don't want this podcast to be 2 hours long.
It's okay. I try to steer away from the Joe Rogan-esque length of podcasts because
5-hour podcast.
Yeah, that's a tough goal. You know, I shoot for that 30 to 40 minute mark, and I'm like,
I love it.
That's what I need. You know,
that you and Richie Coy's podcast actually was my number 1 listen when I was going through Toronto. I had like Kensington Market was 30 minutes from where I was staying, so it got me all the way there. It was a great podcast. Richie, so well spoken, by the way. You phenomenal interviewer. Richie, phenomenal interviewee. Just what a good listen that was.
You know, I was nervous reaching out to Richie because like just you never know if people are going to be into the whole podcast aspect of it. I know a lot of older wrestlers kind of shy away from it because it's, you know, sort of the old mentality of it. You know, you don't want to give away too much, and it's not, you know, a lot of younger, newer wrestlers, you're not too sure how they would take to it. You know, maybe they've had bad experiences. So I'm always a little nervous, especially with
understandable. Yeah.
So I reached out to Richie and they were down and I was like, fuck yeah. So hell yeah.
Shout out Richie.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite matches this year. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is on YouTube under NEW, Richie Coy versus Elliot Tyler. 15-minute time limit draw. Sorry for the spoiler to the end, but
cool.
Worth a watch, I think.
Thank you for spoiling that for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I will go watch it afterwards, but you know, one of the things we were going to talk about is NEW upcoming show, November 7th, correct?
Yep.
You have been blowing the budget, and we actually this is the first time ever where we're adding a second guest into the podcast.
Yes.
Because joining us is also Wyatt. I'm apologize if I mispronounced the last name. Wyatt,
give it a go.
Arndt.
You nailed it. Silent
B. So joining us is also Wyatt Arndt. We're going to talk about the upcoming show, fellas. How does Elliot get the opportunity to blow the budget here, and why would you let him do that?
I mean, that was some shenanigans on his part. He did some paperwork trickery, got HR to sign off on it. So it's it's all him this show. So I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do with our very modest budget.
There's a shit-eating grin on Elliot's face right now, so I can only imagine what he has, you know, percolating through his brain. I like the coffee reference I was able to make there because I
like that. I enjoy that. So. As someone who is enjoying his espresso, I like it.
This is a step away from, you know, to get more into the booking aspect, Elliot. So how have you liked being able to, you know, kind of, you know, spend money that's not yours?
Well, the best money to spend is not your money, first of all.
Mhm.
That's one thing I've learned very quick. Thankfully, we have a lot of talent in Vancouver, a lot
Yes.
of talent. So instead of flying in everyone to work the shows, it's kind of becoming more of like a NEW versus the world type event. So like matches that have already been announced is Ryan Clancy versus Casey Ferreira.
Mhm.
For those that don't know, that are probably living under a rock, Casey Ferreira is probably the hottest young prodigy out of, I would say, the entire West Coast, with the exception of maybe a couple other heavy hitters. But he is phenomenal. And out of Vancouver, no one would have a work ethic like him. And Ryan Clancy is someone who just spent 3 months touring Japan, who also I saw for the first time earlier this year wrestling G Sharp in Las Vegas in what was a phenomenal match. So that was when I first got my eyes on Clancy. And then he left to do his tour and came back. And when the moment I got the budget in my hands, the first person that came to mind was like, fancy Ryan Clancy. And
Mhm.
soon after announcing him, he got his hands on the IWTV Championship. You know, he's a force to be reckoned with on the Eastern independent scene, and I feel like him and Casey have such unique yet almost similar styles. They just go about it in very different representations of it, and I think it's going to be just such an exceptional match.
Funny enough, the first time I had ever heard of Ryan was I think he had worked over in Germany when Travis Williams was over there.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was, the one of the great things about the internet is, you can tell, like, who good people are, and when they kind of show someone else, they're only gonna like associate with good people. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So it's like, oh shit, Ryan Clancy, hell yeah, you start checking out his stuff.
Yeah.
Wyatt, I'll ask you. You see a guy like Ryan coming into the fold. What are your thoughts on this, and what does this mean to NEW having someone like Ryan being brought in?
Yeah, I think it was like there was two eras of NEW. One was before I took over, and they kind of had, I think, big ideals being the next Defy, and we kind of had to be more economically responsible and kind of think about what we want to be as a company. And I think for me, I'm really worker oriented. I like having a good place you can work at, and kind of being a step along the path for a lot of these workers. Everyone has the dream of making it big, right?
Yeah.
So we want to be someone that like you can come in and like put on great matches and build your CV and kind of do that sort of thing. So our first kind of era under Maya, we just kind of wanted, it's like ET said, we have so much talent here. We just wanted a consistent monthly show where people go, showcase their stuff. And then now with the last like 3-4 months, we're really trying to, kind of get people across Canada, North America to kind of come through and showcase their stuff. So we're kind of a place to be. So people want to work here. And a huge credit of that goes to ET because he's the guy who's out there flying out there. He's making these friendships. He's really good at bringing people together. I'm not trying to pump his tires too much, but he's really good at that. And so he's been invaluable in terms of just kind of bringing people out here and kind of making us now not just being a Vancouver place, but being a place where like people are like, you know what, I want to work at NEW. They have a great time there. It's a good locker room. I want to go have fun. So when you get someone like Ryan Clancy, who's not only a good person I've heard, but also like an elite level talent, like now you're just bringing more people, and then people will talk to Ryan. How was it at NEW? It was fantastic, man. It was really good. I want to go work there. So it helps grow our brand, and it helps let other wrestlers hopefully have a good time. So I'm really excited about seeing what he can do for us.
Yeah, all it takes is having a good foundation like that, having a good locker room, good people running it, where people want to work there. You ask people, and I'm sure that in each province, they'll be like, yeah, that's a promotion I want to work for, just because they know that the people running it are good people. The locker rooms, solid locker rooms. You're not going to deal with bullshit there, any of that. So it's a very attractive opportunity for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's exactly where we want to situate ourselves. Like we want to be a place that, workers want to work there, that they get something out of it, that the fans are going to see top-notch wrestling, and that people can be proud to come work at. So again, like I think even just the last 3 months for building our brand across, kind of building it bigger has been massive with the match we put on. I think every time we have new fans show up, we get the same thing. Like, I can't believe like this. I didn't know this was here, and they're kind of blown away by the talent we have. Like that's the most common thing I hear. Like that's one of the hardest thing to do with a kind of like a niche product of wrestling is getting people in the doors, right? And in Vancouver now, like the old days, there was ECW, and ASW, so there was only kind of two major companies. Now there's just so many opportunities to work here that it's kind of a bit harder for us to grab the market because you've got Boom, you've got 365, you've got ASW still around, and WrestleCore. So there's just like many promotions that are kind of because there's so much talent here that can use them. So for NEW, I'm like, what can we do that's going to stand out? And we just want to be like a workers company, a wrestling company, and that kind of people are proud to work at, and that fans come and they go kind of get blown away by what they see. And And that's what we've kind of situated ourselves as right now.
Nice. So, I mean, you mentioned that you've kind of been a part of it since the second iteration, sort of. How has that experience been like for you so far?
It's really interesting because like I'm an outsider. I'm never going to be someone that wants to wrestle. Like what they can do, I know if I get in the ring, I would kill myself. I would hurt
Yeah.
myself. I would be broken in two. So I don't have that draw to be in there, but it's the creative aspect of it that I love. Like ET mentioned, like, kind of like this second phase of his career, and like you kind of see ups and downs in wrestling where some wrestlers are feeling it, sometimes they're not, and sometimes they get inspired and all of a sudden they have the time of their lives. And that's what I kind of love is like having workers come in and seeing one of them catch fire and kind of get ideas and kind of find themselves and go out and have the best times of their lives. And that's what I really like. That's for me, it's that creative outlet. Because like my main job is working in IT. It's super boring. There's no soul to it. It pays the bills. But with wrestling, there's like creativity. You're seeing people do things they love, and like I'm sure ET will talk. Like I love working with him. I love working with people that are inspired and like they have ideas. Like I want to collaborate. I don't want to tell you what to do. I love working with you. If you come to me with an idea, like let's make it happen. And that's what I really like. So for me, it's just been about like kind of just trying to run the business side of things, but also have the worker side of things so they can kind of come together and create this environment where, we can sustain it and be a place where people are proud to work at.
One of like I know since I started doing commentary for WPW, getting to the shows beforehand and just hearing the ideas get bounced around for different people and just like how things come together is one of the things I enjoy the most because like it's you know obviously there are some wrong answers, but like there's no wrong answer realistically. There's just stuff that's not going to work. But like seeing how a storyline can come together or an angle, I think that's great. So I love that you guys are very open with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I've learned in wrestling is like you've got to pivot, whether it's a worker is sick and injured the day of, or like we have to change something on our end, or it's just you always have to be able to adapt. And that's the whole like bring your gear. You never know what's going to happen. Like Dante Santos, one of our up and coming stars, he got thrown into a match just because we needed a guy to play a role. Like, can you just jump in there and get in there? And he dove in, and now it's become this thing where like he wears a safety vest. And that safety vest is so over. The crowd starts chanting "safety vest." Like you never know what's going to happen, right? It's a silly gimmick. He's like a safety supervisor, but he's making it work, right? So that's part of the fun where you see these guys get these chances and they make it work for you. And we just like have to make sure that we're at the show. Sometimes we disagree, but like we come together. Like we might have an endpoint. Like for me, I just want to have an endpoint I want to get to, and how we get there. Like the workers are very like I want to get there this way. I'm like sounds good, and maybe I'll push back there, but it's very collaborative. Like okay, it sounds good. Just hit that endpoint. We're good to go.
Okay, Elliot, I'm going to ask you, what else you got cooking besides Ryan Clancy and Casey Ferreira?
I've been so excited for you to ask that. A big match that I'm a huge fan of, we have Elliot Tyler as the NEW Tag Team Champions, and they will be taking on quite possibly my favorite. Listen, I know I have a lot of favorites, but I will say probably my favorite tag team on the independents right now, KPK out of Ontario, Toronto. So they train at New Wave, where I got to spend a good bit of the last week. But I first saw them earlier this year at Eli Surge's Black Hole Pro show. They wrestled the Short Kings in a hardcore tag match, and they brought a level of creative violence I had honestly never seen before. And at the time this is filmed, I just actually wrestled them last Sunday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and I wrestled them this last Sunday for WrestleFest in like Oshawa or something. I don't know the name of the city, but just an incredible tag team of Ahmed, who is this old school bruiser. He's got the Bruiser Brody look, the fur on the boots, the giant hair, the big beard, and he's just stout, muscle, barrel chested, all badass, and he's such like a tough man's. And then Abu, who is his tag partner, is just this freak athlete. Like I would put him on comparison. They're both a bit newer. I would put Abu on comparison to like a young Travis Williams, just with his natural athleticism and ring awareness, and his confidence is just so mind blowing. Like how are you this sure of yourself and good at this at such a young point? And so they will be coming out to wrestle Elliot Tyler for the NEW Tag Champs. Elliot Tyler have had the belts how long now, Wyatt? About 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, we're on 5 months.
4 or 5 months, and I think this will be a very good challenge for them. I think they have a lot of similar styles, and one member's this big hoss bruiser, and the other's this freak fast athlete. And I think they're going to both gain so much from working with each other. And I really think this is going to be Illa Tribe's toughest challenge yet.
Wyatt, I'm going to ask you this because, you have Illa Tribe, the NEW tag champs, but it seems like BC has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to tag team wrestling because, you've got teams like Reloaded, you have, even the Rogues, you have, Nicole and Liza when they team up together. And it's like, sure, there's good tag teams across Canada, but like, man, you've got just a murderer's row of talent out in BC. So what's it like bringing in another great tag team like KPK into the fold here?
Well, yeah, because it's funny. The first kind of era of NEW kind of had like a tag team division, and like we got to the point like, okay, like we've got to like reach, we got to get more juicer, got to figure out how we're gonna like get the next wave, and all of a sudden it was there already because we have so much talent. So already it's like, oh, we already have the talent, they're stepping up. So even like you got like the Rose coming up, and Telling You Violence gonna be awesome. We still have like the Wise Men who are legends in this area. Like we have, it's. There are times where like we almost have too much talent to get in the shows. Like there's just too many. Like we don't like it is an embarrassment of riches. So it's like I feel bad. I'm like I wish we could have an entire tag team show sometimes. So getting to KPK, it's awesome because we get to see another look because there are so many shows here that people that now we get to see kind of some new blood here, and it kind of gets to see like different styles and see what happens in the ring. And like ET said, like they are similar but different. So I'm really excited to see what these guys can do in the ring.
Hell yeah! Now, Elliot. Those are the only two matches I know. So anything else you present to me is going to be brand new. So
all right,
I'm excited for what else you got cooking on this card.
Let's keep on the theme of tag team because I'm very excited for this one. You might have heard of a team called the West Coast Heavies. It's a trio of wrestlers from BC, kind of have made a name for themselves, both in singles and tag throughout the province. It'll be the conglomeration of Matt Bronson and Todd Quality, who have held VIPW Tag Team Championships, who have held Lost Country Tag Team Championships, Apex Tag Team Championships, as well as NEW and ASW Tag Team Championships. They are probably the most decorated tag team in BC actively at the moment, and that's not including their singles accolades. This podcast would be 20 minutes longer if I had to name all the singles titles they've held in the last little while too. So they will be coming back to NEW for the first time since they lost their tag belts to take on one of my favorite teams and you had one half of them as a guest recently of Platonic Romance, Damien Desire and Richie Coy.
Hell yeah.
And I think that will be such a good mesh of styles. You have the in-your-face, arrogant smash mouth, heavy hitter style of the heavies, and you have the kind of aerial athletic speed and technico style of Platonic. And I think that styles make fights, and I love when you get a grappler in there with a fighter because there's so much potential to just see the craziest stuff, and I think that match will be huge.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've really grown to love as of late is more the grappling, the just mat-based wrestling, and seeing how wrestlers can get in and out of holds and just what it'll lead to eventually, because you're waiting to see how are they going to counter this. Can they counter it? And that's one of the things that I've really come to love with it and just really grown an appreciation for it, because like for so many years I was just like, I love my high flying. I love my lucha. Like that's all I need. But this is a new era for myself as well. So I'm very excited for that.
That's a good era. Technical wrestling is beautiful. I love it. It's like a chess game in the ring. It's just so, yeah.
So I mean, Wyatt, do you have a preference yourself for your own enjoyment when it comes to wrestling styles?
I really like the diversity of wrestling. Again, I'm not saying this to be like, oh, please everyone, but I really like the fact that we have so many different styles. Like whenever our last couple of shows, maybe our most diverse shows we've done ever, just in terms of styles and stuff. And that's why this match is almost the perfect example of that, just in terms of different styles. And I like the fact that both teams have very big personalities too. Like some people can like watch a wrestlers up and coming, like they don't really express themselves in the ring. They're doing the moves, they're trying to make sure they get a good match. But when you're confident and comfortable in there and you have like that big personality, it adds another level to it. And so having these two teams, like they're very, very interesting to me because they're both going to kind of showcase both great wrestling and big personality. So I think it's going to be just a fantastic match. And that's what I like the most is when I see like what someone's all about. Like if I see someone out there that can show their style and who they are as a worker, that's what I love the most. When I can connect them on that level.
Definitely. Elliot, I'm also going to ask because I know when it was announced that you were going to be blowing the budget for this show, you put the post out there on social media, so did you get a lot of responses back of people wanting to be a part of this NEW show?
Yes, I got a bunch of responses from people I've never heard of before, which is great. It's always awesome to shoot your shot. I got some messages from some people that I wish had messaged a little sooner because maybe I would have blown the budget on them, but I had already set the card by the time they reached out. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people that kind of came out of the woodworks to talk to me for this one, and I wish, obviously, I could have gotten more, but you can only blow the budget so far until you get an angry paragraph from Wyatt going, okay, what the fuck are you doing?
Let's just relax here.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite things was after a year after starting this podcast, like what I was doing was like I'd keep a list of like matches that if I ever put on a show that I would want to book, and I just said that in a tweet. I keep a running list of matches I'd run, and then all it took was sending that tweet, and I got so many messages being like, "Yo, man, when's your show? Here's my information. Like, can I get booked?" I'm like, I'm not running a show. I'm poor. Like, come on.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, this is not happening.
Yeah.
But hey, you got to shoot your shot.
Hey, I respect it. I am one and the same. If I saw someone was blowing a budget, I would be one of the first people in their DMs. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I even messaged saying like, I've never called a show on the West Coast, so maybe fly a brother out. But you do have a great commentary team out there, so I can.
We do. Yes, actually. Shout out Justin Morissette, and he's phenomenal. He does a lot for the Giants as well, right, Wyatt?
Yeah.
He's in all in sports media. Yeah. He's a multi-talented dude.
Yeah.
He's very talented and handsome.
He is a very, very handsome fellow. So, okay. So we got a couple tag matches. What else we got cooking?
Let's head into women's championship territory. The NEW Women's Championship. My wife, I like to dog on her because she never defends the belt. Given she's part of a very successful tag team right now that's gaining a lot of steam, it's still just really fun to dog on your wife sometimes. So Liza Hall will be defending her NEW Women's Championship against two female wrestlers that have blown me away recently. One being Big Anna Beretta,
nice,
who I had the opportunity to work with at SOS recently in a tag match. And not many people have kicked my ass like Anna Beretta kicked my ass. So immediately I took note to that as someone I wanted in when I got the budget. And I was originally hoping for a singles match, but then it dawned on me. I recently did commentary for DOA Queen of Thorns down in Portland, and they had in the first round a wrestler named Naomi King. My cat's going to knock my phone over. Play with a toy, damn it, not my wire. So Naomi King out of Oregon Pro Wrestling School had an opening round match with Amira, who I think we're all quite familiar with. Amira is probably just one of the best wrestlers going today. Sadly, Amira wasn't available. I tried to give her all the money, but she couldn't make it. That's okay. I went with the next best thing, and that is the rookie newcomer from Portland who took Amira to the absolute limit in the first round of Queen of Thorns. And I think she has an opportunity to really shock a lot of people. I know this is her first international booking, and I think she's going to surprise a lot of people and make a lot of new fans. So that is a triple threat for the NEW Women's Championship. Big Ann, Liza Hall, Naomi King. And I'm very excited for that one.
I mentioned the embarrassment of riches when it comes to tag team wrestling. Wyatt, you have that when it comes to the incredibly talented women's wrestlers out there as well, because like it seems like every class that's coming out of Lionsgate Dojo, there's someone else who's ready to step up into, wrestling these big shows. So, I mean, what's it like having, so many incredibly talented athletes ready and willing to be a part of these shows?
Oh, I mean, yeah, let's go shout out to Tara from accounting from Alberta. She was one of our champions. She's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And Cherry Blossom, speaking of Lionsgate Dojo, she was recently injured, but she's coming back now, and she's one of our rising stars too. So it's just, you look around the room and you don't feel like you're forced to like, oh, I guess we'll go with that. Never saying that. I guess we'll do that guy. No, you're like, oh man, yeah, that's exciting. Like you're looking at all these potential matchups, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do that. And that's why I think when people come to our shows, they walk away going, oh man, that was amazing. I had no idea. Like it's not often you have a match, which like in life that can happen. Even the top stars can have a match they didn't think was their favorite. But we just have so many talented people that can go out there and kill it that you're just like, that part of the job is probably the easiest, right? You're like, oh, you know what? I'm never sitting there going, oh man, I'm not scrounging for names. Even if like there are multiple shows in the same day and there are people injured, it's very rare that I'm like, oh man, we've got no one for this match. You're more like, oh cool, now we can get to this person. Let's do it, right? That's the joy of working right now in the PNW.
Yeah, I mean, you look over in Alberta right now. I mean, Taryn's, coming back from her injury. You also have Zoe Sager, who's crushing it. The Matriarch has done some fantastic stuff there as well. So, I mean, like, it's great to see all these wrestlers just like rising to the next level and like just like taking these opportunities and running with it. So it's a great time to be a wrestling fan right now.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of fun just because like I've seen people that like they starting out and then like you just see them evolve just as workers and just seeing the next stages. And that's the really fulfilling part, just seeing these people get better and better and seeing people that like when I started, Casey Ferreira was just getting started. And like honestly, I told him to his face, like you remind me a bit of El Fantasma just in terms of how he prepares for things and his eye for perfection. Like he just really looks at every single detail. And now to see him kind of being like an ET being like the vets now, like they were kind of the younger guys starting out. Now they're the guys that like you give them a young guy match against them as their big moment, right? So it's kind of fun just to see like the cycle of like wrestlers coming through and giving back to the business. And shout out to Travis Williams and Judas Icarus, two of like the sweethearts. They have no reason to work for us at all. They don't need to, but they come at their same dumb rate and they still work for us. And they're asked to keep working here because they love the PNW and they love giving back to the business. And that's just a testament to the locker room we have, just that idea of like everyone's trying to build up and kind of keep it going. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah, anytime that I get the chance to run into those guys at a show, it's it may be months or years, but it's like it was just like last week that you saw them. So I mean, I have all the thanks for those guys because when I first started this podcast, I'd reached out to both of them. They both came on, and like it's for somebody just starting off, that was huge because I have utmost respect for both of them. All right, Elliot. We got a banger in the women's division. What else you got?
I got a match that is completely out of my control. It was booked before I had booking power. And it involves one of the best prospects and one of my stablemates down at Prestige, Cole Rivera, who in Vancouver, he's a bit more of a dick. I don't know if I enjoy him as much, but I get what he's doing. I did the same thing down there in his territory that he's doing up here in mine. Game recognizes game. So I'm not going to be cutting any matches, specifically not this one. I believe, Wyatt, what is the specific? This is a tag match, so the H Army has said, right?
Yeah, Henry Reed or head of Human Resources, he said a tag match. That's all we've been told. It's a tag match of Evan Rivers and Cole Rivera. The background is that Evan Rivers is a bit on the outs with our Human Resources team, and they're trying to bring him back into the fold. So they're trying to encourage, I believe, teamwork makes the dream work. So we're going to see how that goes down.
I mean, it is a good saying. So, I mean, hopefully that, they can, come together and get on the same page for this.
Yeah, some people hope they come together. I think Rivers is smarter than that. I don't think he needs the H Army, but that's life, teach their own. Who am I?
Well, okay. Well, hey, I have heard a lot of Cole Rivera, because I know he's been creating havoc down in Prestige with what he's been doing down there. So, I keep tabs on the online.
Have you seen much of his work?
I have not. So okay. I'm going to need you to send me over some
watching
stuff.
This. Do yourself a favor. On YouTube, this happened 6-7 months ago now. Cole Rivera versus Casey Ferreira at 365 Pro Wrestling. That was a phenomenal match. I believe they opened the show, and they might as well have just ended the show after that because it was just like face melting good. I highly recommend that match. Honestly, any match Cole has done, he's had a phenomenal series with Drake Kwan for the DOA Pure Championship. Like, just definitely check his stuff out. He is an up-and-comer. I cannot sing his praises enough. And honestly, if you could get him on this podcast, he might be one of the funniest people to ever talk to. He's just so witty and quick, and I won't glaze him anymore, but that is someone I think you would get along with greatly.
See, now I'm going to clip this part right now. So, Cole, here's an open invite for you to come on the podcast. So, I'll share this on all the social media. So, there we go.
Let's clip this soundbite. Cole Rivera is a piece of shit. No.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep that in the clip.
I will say he is one of the most well-rounded workers. Like he can do it all. That's what I like about him. Like he had a match recently against Miles DeVille, and it was a great match. And Miles just got the victory. And after the match, he cut one of the most funniest promos I've ever seen, just exhausted, asking for easier opponents. And I never laughed so hard. It was fantastic.
It was awesome. Yeah,
I love it.
Really good.
Because normally you get the, I want the best out there on this. No, I want you. I love it. Okay.
It was great.
Okay. What else we got on the show? I know.
So I have two more matches to announce.
Okay.
One being mine.
Yes.
My match is against one Kimono Dragon Josh Cadwell. Murphy, you're in my shot. He's not moving. He's the star. He's just like
he's getting his shit in. He's got to get his moves right now.
Josh Cadwell. And this is a bit of the moment I had booking power, this was the first thing that came to mind. A little comeuppance. Earlier this year, I lost the 365 Global Championship to Josh Cadwell in a just under 30-minute match. He beat me for it. I don't agree with all the methods he used, but I was never really able to get my comeuppance on him. So now he is the 365 Pro Wrestling Champion, and I have booked him, and I've greenlit it with 365 Management that he will be defending said championship against me at the Wise Hall. So that is a big announcement, a big title match for the show.
Hell yeah.
And Cadwell, phenomenal wrestler. I need this win. So this is more for me than it is for the fans. This is my selfish moment.
Wyatt, I'm not gonna lie. I love that you have, a champion from another promotion defending that title in your own. I think that it goes a long way, especially in the whole community aspect of wrestling. I think that's great.
Yeah, like wrestling can get there can be some high school level stuff to it sometimes. People, it's big personalities, and there's a lot of subjectivity to it, and also when other companies are fighting for the same pot, I understand you can get a bit competitive, but that's not really like the approach I want to take. I want to make friends here. Like when everyone's doing well, we're all doing well together.
Mm-hmm.
Lifts everyone up, right? So getting titles defended at the shows is kind of what I want to do the last 3 months. We have Prestige had their title defended at our show recently.
Yep.
Richie Coy defended his title recently, or their title recently at our show. So we're just trying to get friendships and reach across the aisle. C4 Underground Championship, Young Jay Lee had his title defended at our show, and now we have 365 Eddie Osborne, who I absolutely love. I'm excited to have his title at our show too. So it's just part of kind of good locker room and get that atmosphere like we're working together. And yeah, that's what I want to take this.
Now, I know we have a big announcement here. It's the main event of the show. So if you're listening, you're hearing it first before anyone else. So I'm thankful that you bring that announcement to the podcast, I'm very thankful for that. So Elliot, the main event of the show.
Yes, the main event of the show.
What are the people going to expect?
First here.
Yes.
Miles DeVille just recently defeated Sebastian Wolf, ended the longest championship reign in NEW history so far. He wants to be a fighting champion. He wants the best of the best. And in my eyes, on an independent level, fundamentally speaking, there is only one best of the best. And if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Mm-hmm. So it'll be Miles DeVille defending the NEW championship against one of my favorite wrestlers in all the world, Robert Martyr.
Ooh. Hell yeah.
So Robert Martyr, I'm a huge fan. I've been watching for many, many years. Last year, 2024, I drove 5 hours down to Portland, Oregon to attend a seminar. That was a great seminar. I feel like we hit it off. We have a lot in common wrestling-wise. And I was able to see them again at Mania Week, and we got to hang out quite a bit. And I have just continuously been a fan of Martyr since the first time I watched him wrestle. So to get him in Vancouver for the first time, especially just off of, we talked about Ryan Clancy, Robert Martyr also just back from a 3-month stint in Japan, best shape of his life, most technically sound he's ever been. And then Miles DeVille on that same level, just firing on all cylinders, training in the ring almost every day of the week, not missing the gym. These are two people that I think are at the best point in their game they've ever been at. And they're going after a championship that I believe can and will and deserves to be one of the most important championships in Canadian wrestling. And I think this is one of those early defenses that'll prove that to a lot of people. How we watch like Low Key and Samoa Joe defending the Ring of Honor championship in like 2006 and 7. This is a match I think people will be watching in 20 years as kind of the early rebirth of this championship and this scene. And I think there's just so much potential for this to be a generational match.
I was so happy to see Miles make his return, from injury. And, the whole, like, I loved State of Emergency when they tagged together,
Yes.
So, like, they were one of my favorite teams.
It was hard not to love them.
Yeah, the match they had with Reloaded a few years back, the first time I met Jackie and Sharif, they had no idea who I am. And I was like, guys, I fucking love that match. And they're like, you saw that? I was like, it was a great match.
Yeah.
So, like, having State of Emergency and then the split and Miles winning that championship, I'm so stoked for Miles and just the start of his reign. But it's a huge first test with Robert Martyr.
Yes.
Wyatt, I'll ask you, what does a match like this mean to NEW?
I think, and I'll admit my mistake. Sometimes I've lost sight of the championship being the most important thing. Like, you want to make that huge, and sometimes I've lost sight of that. And I think this is a really good step to kind of making that that's what it's all about in terms of what you should be gunning for. So I think this is a huge step in that direction. It's in terms of making the big matches and giving us these matchups. And it's a fresh matchup for us, right? It's bringing in someone new that can kind of test, our guy and see how far he can go. So for me, I'm just super excited, not just to have a person with a resume of Martyr, but just to have these two guys at the top of their game and putting that belt in the line. And shout out to Wolf and DeVille from the last show. That was one of the easiest selling shows I've ever done. People bought tickets because that's a testament to State of Emergency, that when you saw Wolf versus DeVille match, we didn't think what happened. Everyone's like, we have to see this. And they just absolutely killed it. And that was the first step of the belt is what it's about. And so now we're having Miles, who I know is going to be a fighting champion. I know in the wings, we've got a guy named Ricky South from Australia who's coming up. He's tearing it up over here. He's got his eyes in the title. We've also got, I'm sure ET wants shots of the title. We've got a lot of people lining up for shots of that title now that, we're going to see what happens down the line. I'm very excited.
Hell yeah. So the show is November 7th. Are there still tickets available?
Tickets available. We have $15 to $30. Great night out. The Wild Soul is one of my favorite venues. It's nice, intimate venue. It's got good lighting. Some of the worst lighting you can have is the fluorescent lighting. No, it's nice, intimate, cool hanging lights, dark, really good venue. You've got buy drinks there with your friends. Can't say enough about this venue. So hopefully you come out. Anyone listening, if you're in the area, please hang out for us with a night. And it's because you don't want to miss the show. You don't. ET, tell them you don't want to miss the show.
You don't want to miss the show, and jump on it, because I won't say much. Tickets are moving like hotcakes. It's just after the Halloween season. Please jump on the tickets. This is not a show you want to miss. I firmly believe this will be one of the best independent shows to hit Vancouver since pre-COVID days. I feel that confidently about it. If you can, jump on it now, because this is a show you will want to show people on YouTube after it happens.
You guys are giving FOMO for this show to me, I'm a little sad that I won't be able to be there live. I'll have to wait for the YouTube matches. But hey, it is what it is. Now, I'm hyped for the show. I'd be amiss if we didn't talk a little non-wrestling, because we always seem to on here. And when I was making my notes, it was just because you always like my Letterboxd reviews, I was going to just talk about Letterboxd, because I fucking love that app. It's so great. It's the
best form of social media.
It really is. Just read a review. Yeah, I like that. That's it. That's all it is. It's great.
Yeah.
So I watched a couple movies today. I finished The Hills Have Eyes, the remake. I make it a point I only review movies that I've recently watched, because I've watched so many, it's not fair to go back. So I did that one, and then I did The Running Man, the original one, which I was a little disappointed in. But The Hills Have Eyes, it just reaffirms my thought that New Mexico is not a real place, because what is even in New Mexico? Albuquerque? Who lives in Albuquerque? Like it doesn't comprehend the thought of living in New Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Breaking Bad happened. That's where High School Musical happened. None of it makes sense. I think Glee was in New Mexico.
And I didn't even know High School Musical was set there.
Yeah.
I'm too old for High School Musical.
Yeah, there's actually a math thing that someone on the internet did that proved that if they were both canon, Breaking Bad happened at the same time as High School Musical.
All right, hey, I'll take it.
I want to get a quick shout out to Running Man, which is one of the worst lines in any movie, which is "Here's Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero," which doesn't even work at any level. I love it, but it's so terrible. Here's Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero.
You know what Running Man did like bring to me is like I'll create lists on Letterboxd. Like I have one, and it's I'll punch it up real quick. Because I'm just a little dummy like that. I have a list called 2 lists so far. One where it's movies where dogs get thrown as weapons, because surprisingly there are movies, and one of them is Point Break. The other is Grimsby, the brothers Grimsby. And then another list it's called Oh Shit, That's Henry Rollins, where it's a movie where you wouldn't expect Henry Rollins in it.
Nice.
Because of watching The Running Man, I'm going to create a list just for Arnold, and it's movies where Arnold carries heavy shit, because he carries like a steel beam in it, exact same as Commando when he's carrying the giant log on his shoulders. So, gotta love fucking dumb movie lists.
You have a letterbox?
No. I used to work. This is gonna age me out. I used to work at video stores back when those were a thing. So I worked at Blockbuster Video. So I have a healthy experience of debating and talking about movies with customers back in the day.
We got to get you on Letterbox, man. I'm telling you. I think you would have a very good Letterbox.
I think I had fun with it, yeah.
Do you remember HMV?
Oh, of course I do. Oh, yeah.
I used to work there. So.
Oh, nice. We used to have a big HMV downtown in Vancouver. There's a huge one, the flagship one down there. So, yeah, no. I'm well versed in the world of HMV.
So, the one other thing I'm going to ask, because I started it last week when Richie was on the podcast, guilty pleasures. I mean, realistically, it's not really a guilty pleasure because it's something you enjoy, but people will still refer to it as a guilty pleasure. So, I'm going to ask both of you, what are your guys' guilty pleasures?
I'll go first because each will have a better answer. I love the TV show Below Deck. It's a reality TV show, and it's just about people on yachts, and it's dumb, but I cannot stop watching it. If I want to like shut my brain off, I'm going to watch what people at Deckies are up to, man. Below Deck is a fantastic dumb show, and I will watch every season of it. They have like 4 different versions of it. Below Deck Mediterranean, Below Deck, and then Below Deck like everywhere. Below Deck Yachting just got canceled recently, but other than that, the show is fantastic.
This household is very well versed in Below Deck.
Yes.
So, one of the things I absolutely love is shitty reality TV shows.
Yes.
So it's great.
I will say I hate the show. I watch the show Traders because that's like a reality show that everyone talks and loves, and I don't get it because the premise is there's like 14 people and 3 of them are traders, but they never give clues as to who the traders could be, so they're just purely guessing, and I can't stand it because it's like they act as if it's like some big thing to unravel, but like they don't help them at all. The traders have all the advantages. That's not what this podcast is about, but it makes me so angry. There's no advantage given. Anyways, screw you traders.
I don't know what it is. Like currently we're doing Jersey Shore Family Reunion. Season 7 of that. And patiently waiting for the Love is Blind reunion episode to drop on Wednesday. Because
Joe's got his mustache now. What's he been up to? I'm well versed on everything.
I need to know exactly, like, Edmund, what's going on, bro? There's a
that
lot of
breakup scene with Patrick was one of the most awkward things. She's like grabbing his face. I don't want to go with you, but it's just kissing him, trying to break up with him. Like, what are you doing?
So like, are you breaking up with me, or you don't want to go to Baja? And she's like,
yes, go to Baja. No, I can't kiss again. I'm like, what?
Oh, can't wait. Elliot, guilty pleasures.
I think I just saw you guys become best friends. That was an awesome moment for you two. I just like disappeared in the background. That was great. I'll keep it on the reality TV train with Vanderpump Rules.
Classic.
Vanderpump Rules and RuPaul Drag Race are probably 2 of my favorite. Yeah, I don't know if guilty pleasure is the right word because I do genuinely enjoy them, but I understand a lot of it can be brain rot kind of internet meme culture with those shows, but I love them. I can't get enough of them.
before I'd seen a couple episodes of Drag Race, just one of the later seasons, but I didn't know anything about it. So I actually messaged a friend of mine who does drag, who loves the show, and I asked them, I was like, so do they like all live in the same house, like Ultimate Fighter, and they just have to do these competitions? Because if they did, that would be even cooler. And they're like, I don't think they do. But I was like, a little disappointed.
See, I never even considered that. And now, even if they don't, I'm going to choose to believe they do.
I love it. Before I let you guys go, I always ask for a match recommendation. So I'm going to need one from both of you guys. A match recommendation, one you're a fan of, you think the listeners should check out. It can be any promotions, any wrestlers, but one that you think that the listeners should go ahead and watch.
Okay, I'm going to go first on this one, Wyatt, because Ahmed of KPK recently put me on, I can't remember the name of the company, but it's a Japanese company, and it had Bob Sapp wrestling Razor Ramon HG. And I highly recommend that. It's on YouTube. Okay. It is the whole gimmick is, so Razor Ramon HG stands for Razor Ramon Hard Gay. And it's just this very flamboyant character. I don't know any of it that relates to Razor Ramon or Hard Gay. That's just a very crazy name to choose. But they wrestled Bob Sapp, who was famously a very tough man.
Yes. And
it's a very clash of styles. But the match is actually incredible. It's so well done. And go out of your way to find that match, because it is probably one of the most entertaining matches I've seen in a long time.
Fuck yeah. Wyatt, what do you got cooking?
I would go old school ECCW days. I kind of made my chops in the business by doing cameraman on the outside. You just do every job that's given to you. And that was one of my jobs, filming matches. And this match is one of the first matches where like I turned around and went, holy shit, the people behind me. And I fully am a mark of El Phantasmo, but it was El Phantasmo versus Brian Cage and the Commodore. It was just a super fun match. And the atmosphere there was just fantastic. I remember the match after it was like, I felt so bad for them because they just had the crowd like in the palm of their hands. And it was just one of those fun times of me like kind of getting indie wrestling. So for me, it's just got a very fun memory of me just like being there, being like, I'm just so happy to be a part of this and like just getting lost in the moment.
Hell yeah. So NEW, November 7th, tickets are still available. The show will be up on YouTube later on, which I'm presuming. But anything else you guys would like to promote, socials, upcoming shows, anything like that? Here's an opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, if you're a sports fan, specifically hockey, follow Wyatt at The Stanchion, who I unbiasedly think is the best Twitter personality when it comes to Canucks hockey. That's my plug. My plug is him, because he keeps me up to date on all things hockey, and I will be watching the game that is tonight after this is filmed, and I'm sure I will be having Wyatt's tweets on Notify Me. So
yeah, right. I'll be covering the Canucks. That's my other third job. I write about the Canucks, so I'll be covering them tonight. So just in terms of NEW, we should have a show in December as well. That's going to culminate in a lot of storylines that are come together. We're going to see involve Mr. ET as well. So we're going to try to end the year strong, and then hopefully we've got some fun things planned in January, February, March. So yeah, just keep an eye on NEW socials. We'll have you up to date on all our goings.
Perfect, guys. Thank you so much for doing this. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I appreciate it. Thank you, Wyatt, for joining me.
Much appreciated. Yeah, it's our first tag team.
Thank you to Elliot, and thank you to Wyatt. I truly appreciate them joining me, and I appreciate you guys checking out the podcast. I say it every time. I will always say it. If it's your first time listening, you can find me up on all social media at Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, up on all podcast streaming platforms. And you can find me every Saturday up on the Love Wrestling YouTube page doing For Exposure with my good friend Pluggo as we take a look at the world of independent wrestling. Thanks so much for checking out the podcast. We'll talk soon. Grainmaker.